There's a bit of a delay, so I usually
Alright.
wait just a minute. Hello there. My name is Jasom Jensai, and joining me today is my good friend Jedi Bob, also known as Joe Dorfler, because that's just his name. But yeah, so he said he wanted to be known as Jedi Bob, so that's a great name. I love it. We're both big fans of Legos, both big fans of Star Wars, so that's what we're here to discuss today, specifically The Bad Batch. Both episodes 1 and 2, because they both came out in the same week, which is awesome. I'm really excited to discuss those. But first, before we get to that, we've got the question of the stream. The question of the stream: who was in Echo's original clone squad? So there's 3 other clone troopers that you need to name other than Echo. And if you get that right, you get 10 points. You only get 1 guess. You can't look it up. And there's always a third thing that I always forget. Only the first person who gets it right gets the points. I think that's the one I forgot. Anyways, with that over, let's discuss The Bad Batch. So Joe, what did you think of The Bad Batch?
The Bad Batch. Well, going into The Bad Batch, I actually haven't finished the original Clone Wars all the way.
Okay.
So, I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did, but Episode 1 really brought me into the characters. I really liked the characters. I think their fighting style and
Yeah, they like.
kind of their dynamic kind of reminded me a little bit of Guardians of the Galaxy, just how
Yeah, I can see that.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's cool how their characters are just so like, they're not really archetypal, but like they'll have like
Yeah.
like there's the tech guy, there's the hunter guy, like they all have their own specific personality. That's pretty common, so it's just easy to understand, easy to get into, and they're just a great way to experience the Star Wars universe.
Yeah. I do have some hard opinions on a few of them, though.
Which one is your favorite?
Definitely Hunter. Not just because he's the leader, but
Yeah.
I think even if he wasn't the leader, he'd be my favorite, just because of his overall aesthetics and fighting style and character.
Yeah.
Wrecker, I thought I was gonna hate a little more than I did.
Yeah.
A little bit annoying, but not too bad.
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, he is a bit childish. Like, especially in the trailers, I was like, they could go way too far with this. Oh, and by the way, sorry, my dog is barking because Joe came over to my house and my dog doesn't like that. So
that's my fault.
well, it's the dog's fault, but
Yeah.
but yeah. So
Definitely not a fan of Crosshair at all.
really, Crosshair is my favorite.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, he did turn evil, but
Yeah.
like before that, he was my favorite because like he's just so serious and I don't know, he's just fascinating.
I am a fan of snipers, but
Yeah.
not a fan of.
What do you not like about him? Is it the hairstyle? I don't like his hair.
Well, yeah, like he's a little older for some reason.
Yeah,
But-
it's like so short.
Yeah,
But
definitely. He acts just like he has the implant chip all the time.
yeah, yeah.
He really just.
I think he
He
didn't
tears
act.
down the group.
He didn't act quite like that in the original 4 episodes, and so I think a lot of that is the inhibitor chip. But I mean, he didn't change a lot, so
Yeah.
I don't know. You probably still might not like him as much as the others, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. It was definitely nice to see Echo. I do remember Echo
Yeah.
from. Yeah, and I might get some points. Who knows? I think I
Yeah.
only remember 1 or 2 of the other ones.
yeah. And it's the original squad, so
Yeah.
a lot of them die off in like the first couple episodes. You see them. Yeah. Probably don't even remember. I haven't looked up again.
And I do like that Tech's not as archetypal as they could have made him as well.
Right, yeah, he is a bit more. He's not quite like the, oh, I'm scared to actually do things, I just want to research. He's like a clone and a researcher.
Yeah.
I think that's cool.
I also really like how they didn't really reimagine Clone Wars, but they really brought it up a notch. I think not only in the animation, but I guess the quality of the voices and the characters.
Yeah.
One thing that I noticed for some reason was the battle droids at the beginning of the first episode were less like stormtrooper drones and more like actual droids, and like they had more personality, which I actually liked. I found it kind of charming.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. What did you think? So, I guess that's setting. I like to do my like reviews and setting character and plot. So it's like the setting, that's kind of just a general Star Wars post
Yeah.
Empire. Is there anything significant you want to talk about there, other than just a new time we haven't seen before?
I really do like how they dig into the weird time when the Empire rises immediately after Order 66. 'Cause I was always really fascinated about like the politics of the Clone Wars and how like realistic it is. And
like people hate the politics in the prequels. Some people, I should say, but I love them because it's like this is Palpatine's plan and it's so clever. Like as a kid, I didn't, but like now I do. So as a kid, I like Jar Jar. Now I like politics.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense,
Mm-hmm.
and it really lends an eye to the sequel trilogy, even in like how there's even after the Empire falls, that there's all these different factions that are still out there, and there's still like separatist factions and Empire and Old Republic, and all trying to do their own thing, and it's kind of odd.
Yeah. So, what's a good question about the setting? I guess, what did you think of how they executed Order 66 and all of that stuff? Was that, like, good to see, or just...
I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't overdone. I think they might have used the word Order 66 in the dialogue a bit too much, but that's just
true.
me.
Yeah. I think it was cool how Tech was able to figure it out what was happening so quickly.
Yeah.
And he's talking about how Wrecker's programmed. That was funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tech's like, yeah, you don't have free will, sorry.
I definitely didn't like how Crosshair, he's always uptight about order and following orders.
Yeah,
he doesn't
that was
even,
a bit
He doesn't even
much.
get the order to execute the Jedi, yet he does it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that's the inhibitor chip part of it. I mean, yeah. He especially when they were talking about attacking Saw Gerrera's group of, like, just people. Because at that point, they weren't, like, the evil partisans who were, like, destroying civilians just to get at the Empire. So it's like, he was a bit much there, but...
Yeah.
So I can see why you would say he's not as cool, but...
I really like the intro to the Bad Batch too, and they come down the hill on
Yeah,
the snow mountain. That was pretty sick.
That's cool.
I was hoping they'd be on skis, but maybe next time.
Mhm.
I also like seeing the Padawan.
Yeah, Caleb,
Caleb, yeah.
or Kanan Jarrus, because he renamed
Yeah.
himself. Yeah, that was cool. I didn't actually like that they did that because, well, one, there's a comic that came out about that, and it's a little bit different. I haven't actually read the comic, but I know it's different, and I don't want them to be rewriting stuff like that. It's just shouldn't happen. Which is a big reason why I don't want them to rewrite the sequels and stuff like that. But yeah, it's the other thing is for whatever reason he just didn't seem like Kanan to me, like especially like a young Kanan, because his eyes were like too big and his voice was too deep.
Yeah.
They just tried to make sure people knew it was Kanan, I think, too much because he looked too old. But yeah.
I really liked
other
his
than that,
Jedi jump as well.
yeah, that was
That-
good.
that was
I do like what they did with him as a character. I just think that they shouldn't have rewrote him, and it just didn't look quite as good as I would have liked. Yeah, also, I like seeing Deepa B'Elanna. She's fascinating. I want to know more about her. Especially because in Legends she was... I don't know if this is canon. I haven't read all the comics, but Windu was her master, which that's super cool.
Yeah.
I love looking at like all the Jedi Master lineages things. It's like Yoda to Dooku to Qui-Gon to Obi-Wan all the way down to Anakin. That's
I also
pretty cool.
think Hunter could have pulled off the lie that he killed the Padawan for a bit longer, especially like with the other clones agreeing with him.
Yeah. Yeah, but like Crosshair was saying that he wasn't, and like Tarkin didn't trust the Bad Batch, but he trusted Crosshair. So I don't know. Yeah. What about characters? So you've already said you really like Hunter. You really like Tech. What about Wrecker? He was a bit childish, but you said you still liked him.
Yeah.
Crosshair. I like him a lot, but follows too much orders. What I feel like. Oh, Echo.
Echo.
So you hadn't seen the other Bad Batch arc, right? In the Clone
No,
Wars?
I have not.
Okay, so what did you think of Echo as a robot?
Echo didn't get much screen time, but I mean, I guess just from what I was getting, it was kind of just like Tech's kind of backup for most of it. But.
That's true. They have like super similar abilities. It's like Echo can do robots and stuff, and Echo can do technology and stuff. It's like the same thing.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I like how they work together. And I appreciate that Echo wasn't as like robotic and archetypal as they could have been. It's like the characters like it's like they're archetypal, but they don't fit that archetype.
Yeah,
So, like,
yeah, it's like easy enough to understand, but at the same time not just repeating. Yeah, I agree. Wrecker may be a bit too archetypal. He's a bit childish, but that's fine.
I loved when Wrecker pushed the ATT off the cliff and they were chained together and they all started.
Oh yes, yeah, that was cool. Yeah, at times I do think they like make him a bit too strong because like if he can do that, that's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, it's cool.
Should we shift to the Camino scenes?
Sure. Yeah. So Camino's one of my favorite planets. Actually, I really like that one.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting what is happening to like Camino and all the clones at this time, which is why I'm super excited that they're having the Bad Batch, a bunch of clones, be the main characters of their first show directly after Revenge of the Sith. It's because it's such an interesting time for the clones. The war is ending. What are they without the war?
Yeah.
Like, that's what they're designed for. And then there's also Tarkin coming and saying, yeah, we're not going to pay for more clones because we don't need them. And that's when the Stormtroopers come in.
Yeah.
One thing I found kind of funny was just seeing Tarkin sitting on one of those like white spoon chair things that come down from the ceiling.
Oh.
For whatever reason, that just looked really funny to me.
Yeah. I really appreciated when the Bad Batch was in the training facility and they had the live rounds go out.
Yeah.
With
that was cool.
The Super Troopers. During the Mandalorian, I did not really like they're called Super Troopers, right?
The ones in Mandalorian are Dark Troopers.
Dark Troopers.
I'm not sure what the.
I thought they might have been the same.
They look very similar. I'm not quite sure because the Dark Troopers are supposed to be like a new invention.
Okay.
But I don't know. They're probably like a predecessor or something. I don't really know.
Yeah. I didn't like them much in the Mandalorian. I thought they were a little overpowered, but I appreciate that style of robot stormtrooper more.
Yeah. Yeah, that was cool. That entire fight scene. And it just shows their strategies. Although, probably my favorite strategy they did is like the first introduction they did in the original Clone Wars. Like their ship crash lands, and there's an army of droids, and Wrecker just picks up a broken piece of the ship and uses it as shield as they run forward.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And then there's also Tech calculating where to throw stuff and then having Crosshair throw it and stuff. And it works super well.
That was my only favorite Crosshair moment.
Yes. And then also Crosshair is always shooting Hunter's knives, which is just awesome.
That's sweet.
Yeah. So yeah, I love seeing them work together. Yeah. So, did you see the episode with Cut LaQuaine, the original one in the Clone Wars, where Rex shows up? They're hunting Grievous.
I don't think so.
Okay, so yeah, he was a previous character in the one. Rex shows up, talks to him. So yeah, for me it was nice seeing him again. I mean, it wasn't a super significant episode for me. I mean, it's pretty significant in Rex's story, but I've never been a super big fan of like the clone troopers. I've always been more into the Jedi and stuff. But yeah, just seeing Cut again, that was pretty cool. It makes a lot of sense for the Bad Batch to just show up at Cut LaQuaine, him to be escaping because of the Empire's calling or whatever.
Yeah.
And then also the chain codes. That was cool to see because that shows up later in The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And I'm just interested to see more about how all that works.
I think there's a lot to talk about with Omega, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
Is she in the original Clone Wars at all?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure she's a new character.
I guess my big question is, if she's supposed to be a clone, was she cloned from Jango Fett as well, or someone else?
I'm not sure, because one, she's female. Two, she has blonde hair.
Yeah.
So, I don't really know. It just...
I have a hunch that she... This is probably way off, but I think it might be possible that she's a clone of Bo-Katan.
I can see that, because, I mean, Bo-Katan does have the red hair, but her sister has the blonde hair. And Bo-Katan's a Mandalorian, so Jango Fett... I think he was a Mandalorian? It said something about it in the Mandalorian. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was a Mandalorian, but Boba Fett never was.
Yeah.
People seem to think that because Jango Fett is a Mandalorian, Boba has to be, but I disagree. Actually, I think Cara Dune says it, not Din Djarin, that being a Mandalorian is about, it's not a people, it's a creed. So like, Boba didn't swear anything, so he's not a Mandalorian in my opinion. That's an interesting theory. I haven't heard that one before, and like there is almost no proof. I mean, there's the blonde hair, but like that's about it. But on the other hand,
it could just be a Jango Fett clone. And they modify genes and stuff.
Yeah, most Star Wars theories I've heard have no proof, and they're just, oh, what if this is a thing? I'm like, that'd be cool. Sure.
It's Emperor Palpatine's great.
Yeah, that is actually one of the main theories that people say is that it's a clone of Palpatine.
Oh, that makes sense actually.
Yeah.
Like, because he started cloning later, so.
So,
Possible.
yeah, and then the other thing is she's supposed to be a defective clone, but the other question a lot of people have is she actually force sensitive? Because like she knew what Crosshair was gonna do. She kind of talked to him and she was like, yeah, I know what you're gonna do. It's not your fault. And then he got taken away.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, probably a force sensitive Palpatine clone.
The other option that I've always thought of is maybe she's not force sensitive, but she has similar powers that replicate that aspect of force sensitivity, where she can kind of like some sort of mental powers. That would, I don't know. It's a lot of theories with no proof again, so it's interesting. I'm excited to see what they do in the future episodes.
I hope it doesn't go too much in like the Mandalorian, but instead of the child, it's
just copying it. Yeah, I feel like it's a bit different just because of the personalities of the team. Another one is Omega's a lot younger technically, but she's a lot more mature than Grogu. So it's just a different vibe I get from it, and there's a lot more they can do with it because you can actually talk. Whereas Grogu is just, I'm going to use the Force now. But that is a good point. If she ends up being Force sensitive, it is really similar to Grogu and Mando, especially because clones are pretty much Mandalorians, but, well, maybe they're not pretty much Mandalorians, but they're similar to Mandalorians. Especially these ones, because they're elite, and Mandalorians are all elite, so.
I think that's almost everything from episode 1, unless we want to talk about them going to Gideon and back.
Yeah, I mean, what did you think of that whole scene with like Tarkin's plan to spy on them and send them to kill innocent people?
I thought it was cool. It was kind of expected, but it made sense. I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it made a lot of sense considering Tarkin's character, and also who the Bad Batch are, which I didn't know them super well, and I think the more I watch, the more I see Hunter as like having more compassion rather than just being a good warrior, and the more actually he becomes one of my favorite characters in this, and also the more Crosshair turns evil, the less I like him. So
I do like seeing them build Grand Moff Tarkin as this great Imperial District leader and how power hungry he is.
Yeah.
Because we see like eventually in A New Hope how supposedly like evil he's supposed to be.
Yeah, and a huge chunk of Tarkin's story is in, because I mean you see him a few times in the movies, you see him in the Clone Wars a bit, and in Bad Batch as well, and hopefully we'll see him more in Bad Batch, which I would like to see that more. But a huge chunk of his story is in his book called Tarkin, and yeah, it's super interesting. It just goes over his backstory. He has a ship, he goes on a mission with Vader, and it just kind of shows you his philosophy on stuff. He ends up at the very end becoming a Grand Moff, whereas previously that position wasn't even a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's pretty cool to see. Anytime you see him, it's you know that the good guys are in trouble because he's just so ruthless.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Tarkin sends them to this mission. Also, Saw Gerrera, I like seeing him. It's weird because in the original Clone Wars, he had like this tan skin, and I believe he had green eyes, like he does in this. But then in Rogue One, he's got like darker skin.
Definitely a lot darker. Yeah.
It's kind of weird that they cast that guy. I don't know who he is. Sorry, that they cast him as Saw Gerrera when he doesn't look anything like Saw Gerrera.
They could have at least made the animation look more like Saw Gerrera.
Well, I'm pretty sure the animation came out first because he was actually showed up in the Clone Wars.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yep. Okay, I see what you're saying.
It's just hard to like realize that they're the same person because they look so much different. It's like, wait, that's Saw Gerrera, but Saw Gerrera looks like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I'm wondering if we'll see Darth Vader at all in.
Yeah, I think he could show up at the end, but I don't want him to be like a main villain. Like the
Yeah.
Bad Batch are good, but they're not that.
Then
good.
it's just gonna be rebels basically.
Yeah. I think for most of it, I want it to be Crosshair is like maybe Crosshair and Tarkin.
Yep.
Is like hunting them.
And the shock troopers as the main stormtroopers.
Right. Yep. Or shock troopers as well. Maybe shock troopers are like by Tarkin and Crosshair, and then they also run into stormtroopers all the time because stormtroopers are everywhere at this point in history.
Maybe Death Troopers as well, because
yeah.
that
They might be
seems to
later,
what
but yeah, that could be
Crosshair's
good.
armor or resembles a little bit.
Ooh, that's a good point. What if Crosshair like somehow starts the Dark
Death-
Troopers, or
okay.
perhaps him and Tarkin? That's a cool idea. Maybe he gets green armor then.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I think because Director Krennic, I think, is, unless we see him in Bad Batch, but
Yeah, I don't think we will. Yeah, I think we could. It's a possibility, but I don't think we will. It just doesn't seem to fit with this story.
Then again, Moff Gideon from Mandalorian also had Death Troopers, so.
Yeah. Yep. And they show up in Rebels too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like Krennic, I don't remember for sure. I think Krennic maybe had something to do with them. Other than just having them as his main guards. Like something significant. I don't remember for sure though. But yeah, so what do they do after that? They go back to Camino. And then they get locked in prison.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you think of their like idea to go back to Camino and rescue Omega? Do you think that was like in character with them, or just
Yeah, I think
wasn't
it
good?
was.
Yeah, I think so too.
It was definitely the right choice. Otherwise, Omega probably would have been executed fairly soon. Them as well, if they stayed captive. Like Grand Moff Tarkin had no more use for them except for Crosshair.
Yeah, why do you think he didn't kill them instantly, Tarkin?
I don't know. I think his imperial nature is a little like bureaucratic, and he wants order and to have them locked up and deal with it later.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to leave a mess right there.
Yeah, that's true. I think that could definitely be it.
Maybe he wants to do like experiments on them.
That's also a good point, because they do have very useful DNA.
Yeah. Maybe they think they can change the others into Crosshair.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I don't know if they would quite do that because it's almost too creative, too good of an idea. But like, yeah, it's a good theory, for sure. One other theory that I don't think I came up with this one. I think I saw this somewhere, but I don't remember where. It's that Tarkin let them live, let them like escape basically as well, because he was like tracking them or trying to see what would happen if, I don't know, some plan that he has to let them free, and that somehow helps him, which I could totally see being a Tarkin thing with him being such a master strategist like that.
Help them find other rebels and
Right, yeah.
defects.
Yep. That's true. And maybe he just wants to see what Omega does out in the wild, kind of like a field test or whatever. What do you think of their actual escape plan?
It was all right. I think it could have been a little more creative, but it
Yeah.
happened. It worked.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that they put Wrecker in a cell that he can just punch through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I do think it's not very smart of them to not have waited for Crosshair to get back before doing it. That's like the one thing that kept bugging me about it. I'm like, you do realize that you're gonna have to go find Crosshair, or at least that's what they should be thinking.
Yeah.
Because they don't know Crosshair is getting like his chip amplified. Which, that's a cool idea. I didn't know that was possible.
Yeah. To be honest, if I was Hunter, I would not even think to go back and look for Crosshair. Be like, he's already gone. Like, he's already on their side. That's why they took him in the first place.
Yeah. I mean, on the other hand, they have known each other for, I don't know how long, but like most of the war, as long as they've been in it, I'm sure. Probably like 2 to 4 years. And they've been fighting with each other. That builds a lot of camaraderie. So, I don't know. I just feel like that's something they should have thought of that they didn't. But, you know, it's... Nothing is going to be perfect. You can nitpick any movie you want. And you can make it sound terrible. Especially Star Wars movies, because there's a lot of nitpicks in them. Yeah. Star Wars movies. So yeah, then they go to... Is that the end? They escape? They go into hyperspace. Then it's the next episode. With Cut LaQuaine and his Twilight people. So, yeah, what are your like first impressions of Cut LaQuaine and his wife and kids?
Weren't they? They were in the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do remember them vaguely from the first time that when he defected as a clone. Okay,
so you're talking about the original episode with Captain Rex. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you do remember.
That's like season 1, isn't it?
I think it's one of the early seasons. I don't know if it's quite season 1, but I'm terrible at remembering what goes in what season. I know that season 7 is the one with Ahsoka versus Maul, because it just came out.
Yep. Yeah, I liked it. It reminded me of a Mandalorian episode, and it's kind of
like they go to a remote place with a kid who may or may not be force sensitive, with a bunch of Mandalorian-esque warriors. Yeah. I
didn't mind it, but it wasn't like super entertaining or anything.
Yeah.
Until they got to the transport depot.
Yeah, and then they came up with a plan.
It was a fairly short episode.
Yeah, especially compared to the last one. Like, that was an hour and 14 minutes. That's like I think that's the longest Star Wars episode, like TV episode ever.
Yeah, unless you count the first Clone Wars movie.
Right, yeah. But technically a movie, or realistically a bunch of Clone Wars episode combined to make 2 hours.
If it has the announcer guy at the beginning of the episode, it counts.
Yes. Did they have an announcer? They didn't
Not
have
on
it.
episode 2, no.
They had it for episode 1, I know.
I was hoping they would, but...
Yeah, I like that guy. He's cool. He's also the voice of Admiral Yularen, which I think is awesome.
Okay.
And I think that guy is actually in A New Hope. I know he's in the Thrawn books. I think he's also in A New Hope. But he wears white.
So yeah.
Because he's an ISB agent. That guy. He's cool. They should write a book about him. That'd be cool. I don't know a lot about the Republic commanders. There's a lot of Imperial commanders. Anyways,
not much happened, but...
Yeah, I mean, Omega, like, went past the fence in a classic fairy tale-esque thing. Don't go past the fence or monsters will attack you. And then you get to see Hunter, like, yell at her and be like, oh, you shouldn't have gone past the fence. And then it's like, yeah, you're not a dad, are you? That was cool to see. I liked that. And then, of course, that led to Hunter wanting to send Omega with Cut because he knows how to be a parent, and Omega doesn't want to. She thought she did something wrong. That's cool. I love that.
I found it funny how they're just like, I'm not a good parent, so you're gonna take the kid.
Yeah. I mean, didn't Mando try to do that with someone? I feel like
he definitely did.
He definitely has done that, for sure. I know he did it with Ahsoka.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, these warriors are like yeah, we're not good parents. But then the kids are like, be my dad.
Yeah, without even asking, they're just like, you're taking it.
Yeah. So yeah, then they go to the spaceport.
Mhm.
So one thing I noticed about their plan is, like, Tech and Echo came up with this really good plan, and just immediately did it.
Yeah.
And on the one hand, that's a
They didn't even look around the ship before they did it.
Yeah.
They didn't even go to the cockpit to fly it.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think of that.
They just reported the ship and hid.
Yeah. So.
It wasn't even that good of a plan.
Right. It was just a plan that would work. It's like, yeah, that might work. Let's do it.
They didn't even get. They could have got the others on the ship and all went at once. But
Yeah.
They're just like, you know what? Hunter will probably be able to disguise with the rest of them. It's fine.
Yeah. On the one hand, that's like just a terrible idea, but on the other hand, it's like they're the Bad Batch, so they come up with good plans. They're really good at executing them, but they're also like defective and kind of. It just makes sense for them to be impatient like that.
Yeah.
So I liked the plan, liked the execution, even though it was not very smart.
Guess we still don't know if the family made it on the transport and was able to get out of there, but
Right. I mean, we saw the
yeah.
chips, but yeah.
Who knows? I bet we'll see like one more episode with them just a little bit later on.
Yeah, especially if they do multiple seasons,
Yeah.
because I mean, I don't know how many
Kind of
seasons
like Cara
it's
Dune,
gonna
I
go.
think we'll see a little bit and then it'll be the end.
Yeah. So yeah, as for the execution of the plan, I liked the action. It was really good. I do think that the one thing I didn't like about it, and this is a super nitpick, but like Echo was like trying to get the like magnetic clamp thing off, and then Wrecker just walks over and pulls it off. And again, it's like, how is this guy able to do this? Do you realize if he can do this, how much he can do?
Yeah.
And yeah, I just feel like they should have let Echo get that, because I mean, he hasn't done much. His ability is working with machines, so yeah. I don't remember where it was. I think it was on the like the official Star Wars channel or something, but it was like a promotional video for this, and it was like Hunter, the like leader, and then it's like Echo, the tech guy, and it gets to Echo eventually, and it's like has a socket arm. It was kind of funny.
Has an R2D2 abdomen on.
Yeah. Yeah, so. Yeah, there's a lot that happened in this episode. I'm super excited for the future of this.
Yeah, definitely like the Bad Batch. Definitely great addition to the Clone Wars.
Yeah, I especially like their alternative name of Clone Force 99, because it's like a callback to 99, like the clone trooper who had like a weird back problem and just pretty defective, and also for some reason he looked a lot older than the other clone troopers.
And it's 66 upside down.
Ooh, that's a good point.
Ooh, symbolism.
That's cool. I never thought.
Because they didn't obey Order 66.
Yeah.
That's deep.
That is. It's either completely random or just a super awesome insight.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. You think we'll see any other Force users like Jedi or Sith other than Darth Vader in the TV show?
It's possible we'll see Kanan.
Yeah.
Probably.
I mean, he kind of left abruptly, which is
At
part
least
of...
him with Hunter, I think.
Yeah. Part of why I didn't like him showing up was because he just left so abruptly, and it kind of just felt like they could have done that with any other Jedi. Like, it wasn't really necessary. It's just fan service. And as I also said, it didn't seem like a young Kanan. It seemed like they were trying to make Kanan young. And it just seemed a bit awkward to me, but...
I think if Bad Batch goes multiple seasons, it would be a little nice for them to tie into Rebels a little more, just to make Rebels more coherent with the Clone Wars and have it all be kind of one. I think it'd be kind of a nice tie-in, I think.
Yeah. What characters would you most want to see from like Clone Wars and Rebels show up in Bad Batch? One I really want to see is Hondo Onaka, the pirate guy.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. It's not like something like super important to the story, but I just like seeing him all the time.
I've seen some of
It's great.
the pirates and bounty hunters of Clone Wars.
Yeah. It'd be cool to see Boba Fett as well.
Yeah.
Just see him kind of developing more.
Yeah.
The more we see of him, the more I like him. So
I'd like to see them on Coruscant. And the
that'd be
capital
cool.
of where the transition is still happening.
Yeah, especially if a lot of the focus of this show is focused on like the setting, the time period, with like the clones like getting phased out and the Empire taking over and all that change. It'd be really great to go to Coruscant, which is like the center of everything changed.
And
That's a good
Alderaan
idea.
too, where the
Yeah,
where the
Alderaan
Republic-
would be cool to see. I saw one comment that was on a Star Wars Theories, like Star Wars forum thing or whatever. Don't remember what the exact name is, so I always call it like Star Wars Theories, Star Wars forum. It's kind of weird, but anyways, I saw this comment, or really a post, not a comment, but it was like, I have a theory where, they're gonna go to Alderaan, and maybe they're gonna meet a young princess, or maybe they're gonna meet a young Cara Dune, and maybe this young Cara Dune will be inspired by them and join the rebellion or whatever. And it's like,
No.
it's phrased super weirdly, and it's like, I guess it could happen, but it's like, that was kind of my reaction to it. Nah.
I think-
it'd be fine, but
She might be one of Crosshair's shock troopers, but
yeah,
I think at the end of the day, I don't think Star Wars is going to use her anymore.
yeah, that's true. Kind of sucks. At least, at the very least, it sucks for the story, because
Yeah.
they had plans and they have to change them. It's never good, but so what would you think of them going to Alderaan and meeting Princess Leia?
Maybe not meeting the princess. If they did meet the princess, whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of my thoughts
I
too.
think it could be a similar dynamic to, I guess, Mandalorians with who's the queen? Was it a queen?
Padme Amidala?
No,
Or
of
Mandu?
Mandalore.
Oh, Mandalore. Satine.
Duchess.
Yeah,
Satine.
Duchess Satine. Yes. That one.
I think it'd be a similar dynamic. I
Sure.
think more what I'm looking at it at Alderaan is, I guess, big Republican rebel leaders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely want to see more of Saw Gerrera.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool to see him show up a lot more in this, as he's starting his rebellion. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot with Saw Gerrera, that you can explore.
Yeah. I really liked seeing V-wings with the shuttles.
Yeah,
I
that
think
was cool.
Very it's one of my favorite ships, and it's kind of it was just used for a little bit in episode 3 and then
Mhm.
Clone Wars, and this is the period when they're used the most.
Yeah,
It's nice to see them.
they were a really cool design.
Yeah, it's like a cross between
Like-
a TIE fighter and an X-Wing.
Yeah, my favorite ship is the Jedi interceptor thing, the one in episode 3, not episode 2. And it's pretty similar. It's got that almost knife-like look to it, which a lot of ships have, but it's really cool. That's why a lot of
I
ships
do
have
not like the ones from episode 2.
it. Yeah, those are a bit
way too
simple. Yeah.
Just trying.
Then again, Star Destroyers are just triangles,
Yeah.
but at least they're really big triangles. So. Star Destroyers.
Yeah, big triangles are way cooler.
Agreed. Yeah. So what are some other characters that you would want to see? Would you want to see would you want to see Mandalore in this show?
I do, but I don't know if it'll happen because they just had the big Mandalore arc
Yeah,
the last
in the
season.
Clone Wars. Yeah. Yeah, I think it would be fine, but
But probably honestly, maybe they. I don't know if the Bad Batch really has a place.
yeah, that's kind of my thoughts too. It's a huge aspect of the Clone Wars, but at the same time, it's like that's like a different aspect. You've got like the clones, you've got the Mandalore story arcs, and then you've got like the Jedi story arcs, or like the Jedi and Palpatine story arcs, and that's like kind of what makes up the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like the Bad Batch is like only one of those.
Yeah. That's already a way too complicated situation.
Yeah. Especially before it was revealed like why Mando wasn't taking off his mask. That was like, but wait, hang on, you're what? Yeah. So yeah, that's episodes 1 and 2. If you had to give like a rating 1 out of 10, and 10 is your favorite story ever, and 1 is not your least favorite story ever, because that's pretty terrible. Like just a not very good story.
Okay. For episode 1, I'm gonna have to go. Honestly, a 5. Like, it was really good. I enjoyed it, but I would never watch it again. I don't think I'd rewatch it.
Yeah, I'd rate it like a 6 or a 7 maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I really wanted to like this show, and that's probably why I didn't like it as much, because my anticipation was super high. And I don't even know why, because the Bad Batch story arc wasn't one of my favorite story arcs ever.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. I guess it's just because it was made by Dave Filoni and it was like the next animated thing that's coming out. So my anticipation was way too high. So yeah, it's a good story, just not. It's just not the masterpiece I was expecting.
Yeah. In episode 2, just probably a little lower than that. But...
Yeah, I think I would rate episode 2 a bit higher. Probably a 7, solid 7.
Yeah.
And I think I'd rate it higher. One, because it's shorter, so it's more compact. I feel like a story like The Bad Batch, it's very similar to the Clone Wars, but its runtime is like a lot longer. So
yeah, I think hopefully as the whole season develops and comes out, it'll probably get better.
Yeah, especially because there's some things that I didn't like in them that could be improved with later seasons. For example, like I said, Kanan Jarrus seemed to just leave quite abruptly. I didn't really like that. But if he comes back later, then it's like all fixed. On the other hand, I don't like how he looks, so maybe it wouldn't be fixed. But yeah, then there's also, I don't know, just the character development of them. It makes the show seem better as you get to know the characters more. So it's harder to judge a book based on the first chapter than based on the entire thing.
Yep.
So I think that's all we've got to discuss concerning the Bad Batch for now. Unless you've got anything more to add, Joe.
I don't think so. Nope.
All right, sounds good. So feel free to leave any critiques, compliments, and questions you have about the stream in the comments or in the chat if you're watching live. If you got any other questions, I'd love to answer them. Might cover them in a stream depending on how big of a topic it is. And I'm looking forward to the next stream and more Bad Batch episodes. Have a great day, and may the Force be with you, always.